I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News, the headlines. Hakainde Hichilema describes Zambia as a broken state in need of urgent viable leadership. Government urged to quicken the issuance of NRC and Sub-Chief Kalasa Manika's chiefdom. Stakeholders demand a clear path on prison's vote from the electoral body. In international news, Mali highly expectant of fresh elections after Kieta overthrow. And in sports, Zambia to play 2 international friendly matches against United Arab Emirates in October. More details coming through after this. Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you a filmmaker? Well, you are exactly what we are looking for.
Camnet TV is calling on local filmmakers. For more details,
you can visit our headquarters in Ibex Hill, next to Hilltop Hospital.
Contact us on 0972 277467 or
0962 444 726. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel. And other news in detail. Opposition United Party for National Development UPND President Hakainde Hichilema says Zambia is in a breakdown mode. Speaking in Lusaka Thursday when he addressed party members from Copperbelt, Mr. Hichilema says the nation is facing numerous challenges in various sectors of the economy needing proper leadership to control. During this interaction, the opposition leader also touched on sectors such as mining, high unemployment levels and media harassment by political party cadres from the non-parties. Mr. Hichilema, however, says not all hope is lost, adding that 2021 Zambians will be given a chance to choose the life they want through the ballot. Mr. Hichilema says once voted into office next year, he will ensure that small-scale miners are given licenses to operate normally. More in the following report.
If there's a fluctuation in the price of metals, just a slight fluctuation, if you do not support the sector including workers, more important workers, and mine suppliers, Zambians, mine contractors, they could lose jobs, they could lose businesses because the mine is not performing well, the costs have gone up. So it will be our duty as UPND government to help lower the cost of doing business so that we can maintain jobs in the mining sector, even when there's a fluctuation in the price. Has it been done elsewhere? Yes. During the financial crisis in America under President Barack Obama, then the government of America came on board to support workers, to support businesses, to support suppliers and contractors so that no one loses jobs, either in the direct company employee or a supplier employee or a contractor employee or indeed those who buy services from the mines as well. That's what we're going to do. What you see today is a government that walks away from workers, walks away from suppliers, walks away from contractors, walks away from mines, and stand on an ante, start pointing fingers at each other. That's failure of leadership. We will organize leadership, we will work together with the mining sector, with the employees, more important, and others, to keep the mines afloat. Obama did it. They even had to save big companies like General Motors. And after a while, those companies survived, jobs were not lost. That's what a leadership is supposed to do. There are 3 basic roles. amongst others. One, contracts for goods and services in the whole country will favor Zambians and Zambian companies. Full stop. Number two, I talked about it already. Extractive industries, mining, timber as an example. All licenses, new licenses will be given to Zambian and Zambian citizens.
In other news, as the elections draw closer, people are becoming more suspicious of what's happening around them, especially on projects being implemented by government. Thursday morning, residents of Kaunda Square in Lusaka were allegedly being given about 800 kwacha as empowerment fund upon issuing their national registration cards. The fund was being given from the councillor's office in Mnali Ward 33. Some concerned residents contacted Camnet TV expressing concern over the empowerment project, which according to them is vote buying by government. Camnet TV went to the source and discovered that over 500 residents queued up to receive the fund of empowerment. Details in this report.
Close to 500 residents of Kaunda Square area of Lusaka province were on the 20th of this month lined up to receive an amount of 800 kwacha for reasons no one knows. So, who's antibati mugwera mutinginda?
Kulembesa chabe, then in drama sending in my phone. But this we can drama uti choka kulindani.
So na
generate. Na number wa
aye kubuyo kwenzo lembesa na ngono sapamanje bachinja.
Apa bachinja tia.
Oyambira pa 35
years.
Atuambia pa 35 years.
Umulile pa 35.
Tikabofikiza pa 35. Wena ngo wa sending na 800. Wena ngo wa sending na chani ma 1 pini. Message zilika kutini ndani. Koziolo yafika message yani mafika message ilemba chabe.
Mufala ndrama.
Nikambesa mazina.
Ni bandana nina kupasa ndrama.
At government.
My 800. So chad. According to some beneficiaries, those who were on the queue, all you had to do to receive this 800 is to show your national registration card, NRC, register your full names, and the amount of 800 will be deposited in your mobile money account. Some residents have revealed to Camnet TV voters are being bought. It is alleged that the ruling Patriotic Front started yesterday the 19th to dish out money to these men and women as we approach the 2021 general elections to buy them as voters so they can be able to vote for the ruling Patriotic Front. However, according to our investigation, it seems these people have no idea of why they are receiving money for free. Others say they were told it's women empowerment, while others are saying it's youth empowerment. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Governance, Elections, Advocacy Research Services, GEARS initiative has called for the equal application of the law on Zambian citizens. GEARS initiative Executive Director McDonough Jipenzi says he is surprised with the immediate issuance of a police bond to JJ Banda, a Patriotic Front cadre who allegedly robbed the police station. Meanwhile, Mr. McDonough Jipenzi has advised the Electoral Commission of Zambia to be clear about the voting of prisoners in the upcoming general elections. Yesterday, the electoral body announced that prisoners may be limited to a presidential vote regardless of next year's election being a general election. 2021 will be the first time prisoners will vote in Zambia.
GEARS Initiative and All People's Congress Party have asked the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) to be clear about prisoners voting in the country. GEARS Initiative Executive Director McDonough Jipenzi says he feels vindicated on the matters of prisoners voting as he believes it is a failed project aimed at benefiting the ruling Patriotic Front.
I'm afraid the 2021 general elections is very insecure. that they are not certain whether the prisoners who vote for presidential vote or the ballot papers. Exactly what we have been telling them, that please, this vote that you want to introduce must be taken with a lot of caution. Because if you don't take it with a lot of caution, it's causing trouble and confusion, suspicion in the electoral process. The issue of saying, no, the court said this, must be taken into context. The court never said whether rains, no rains, the election, the prison vote should be done in 2021. No. The court only ruled and guided that the vote for prisons should be done in future elections. So we don't appreciate the rush that the ECZ is really doing on this one.
And All People's Congress Party President Nason Msoni says he is not surprised that the whole idea is problematic. Mr. Msoni has told Camnet TV it is absolutely ridiculous for voters to vote only for a presidential candidate and be excluded from choosing their local representatives in their respective constituencies.
We had told the Electoral Commission about the challenges ultimately that will play out by allowing prisoners to vote. But they argued, they said that the prisoners had won the right to vote. And now we don't think that it's appropriate for the same Electoral Commission to be making exclusions, to be making exceptions, or to be prescribing the parameters to which prisoners can vote.
They have both called on the commission to revisit the decision of allowing prisoners to vote as opposed to the limiting of their rights to freely participate in the electoral process. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
A non-governmental organization known as Tukule Consortium says government's priorities regarding the purchase of anti-rioting gears were highly misplaced and showing that the current government is full of fear and insecurities. Organization Executive Director Nicholas Piri notes with concern that out of the many priorities, government chose to invest in the security gears as if the country is preparing for war. Meanwhile, Patriots for Economic Progress Party leader Sean Tembo has noted with great shock that the government of Zambia decided to buy second-hand equipment and vehicles for the Zambia Police Service.
Yesterday, Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo handed over various modern anti-riot equipment to the Zambia Police Service at Lusaka's Lilai Police Training College. The procured equipment was aimed at enabling the police service to discharge its duties smoothly. Nevertheless, this move has been noted by some stakeholders with great shock and horror, as the Tukule Consortium Executive Director Nicholas Piri feels the move is a misplaced priority.
The priorities of this government are somehow upside down, because believe me, we appreciate and understand the importance of security, because even when you have all the money, all the growing economy, if you are not secure as a nation, that does not mean anything. So we understand that security is important, but on the list of priorities, or the quantum of priorities, are we saying that now we have so much security threat that we need to invest more money in security than we are investing money in health, than we are investing money in agriculture, than we are investing money in education? I don't think so. But this tells you, that our priorities are upside down. Our advice to government is that the best way to invest in security is to ensure that you observe the rule of law yourselves as government. What this government is basically doing is fear. This investment, this allocation of more to security than any other sectors is because of the fear of what they have done. I mean, when you have a cabinet minister saying what is 2 million that you can complain about, Honestly, there are people in this country that don't know where a 1 kwacha will come from. And somebody who is using public resources says, what is the 2 million? That is making people to be very, very upset. When you have a head of state who is casting aspersions on the Anti-Corruption Commission, a creation of the Constitution, which he supervises, then people are agitated. So the people in power understand this so well.
Meanwhile, the Patriots for Economic Progress Party, PEP leader Sean Tembo, says that the Patriotic Front PF's impunity and arrogance knows no limits for deciding to buy second-hand equipments at the expense of the taxpayers' money.
As Patriots for Economic Progress, it has come to our attention with a lot of shock and horror that the newly acquired equipment and vehicles for the Zambia Police Service is actually second-hand equipment. We might have thought that government might have learned a lesson from the procurement of the 42 second-hand fire trucks at an exorbitant price of $42 million, and which fire trucks have clearly failed to function. We have seen several incidents where these fire trucks failed to actually extinguish a fire because they are old and archaic. And so when it came to procurement of police equipment and vehicles, we thought that the government would procure brand new equipment so that this country can get value for money. But it appears that the government has not learned its lessons. And we are shocked, actually, that government could decide to buy second-hand equipment.
Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwenga Mwenga.
In other news, Sub-Chief Kalasa Manika of the Kaonde-speaking people of Northwestern Province has asked the Ministry of Home Affairs to quicken the process of issuance of National Registration Cards (NRCs) to his people. The Sub-Chief tells Camnet TV News in an interview that 2 weeks into the mobile issuance of NRCs, the Department of National Registration has not yet reached his chiefdom. The Sub-Chief says several young people in his chiefdom have attained the age of 16 years and are eligible to be issued the NRCs for them to participate in the 2021 general elections. From the time the process started, the entire Northwestern Province has only been issued with 17,000 NRCs, both new and replacement, with Copper Belt youths receiving over 55,000 NRC, both new and replacement combined.
Nove muno mukasempa district tuti na maskulu avula kana kati kumasikise kana akavyo nambari yona avula kukwata kanya bulongo panuku nokwetu mwane tukyange bakyange kufika abayana kuya banako yana ukopesha tumito twa majama tambane ngekuiwe tundaika mwane tusakuiwe tundaika bonse bana babula kukopoa marezi bonse bamone kwa mamba babepi batambula marezi bakwa mamba we mwaka kimekyo bakafotanga bakuvotera ndamakyalo bonse nowe muno mukano ngomo bakarasa mufumu wami Kalasa Manika bonse tukamone kwa mamba bavota mutende kwa kura lukata jone.
Meanwhile, Sub-Chief Kalasa Manika of the Kaonde-speaking people in Kasempa district in the Northwestern Province has declared his open support for the ruling Patriotic Front PF. The Sub-Chief has since declared an easy win for the PF in the district due to the massive development delivered to the area. According to the Sub-Chief, the PF has delivered development in all sectors such as health, agriculture, and water and sanitation, among others. The Chief said this when former Kasempa constituency member of parliament Kabinga Mpande and another top PF official Martin Mbaya in the company of PF provincial and district officials called on him at his palace. Mr. Mpande, on the other hand, has assured the chief that government will continue to roll out development to the district for the betterment of the people.
In 2018, the people of Kasempa's Kanungo ward went to the polls to vote for a new councillor in a tightly contested ward by-election between the ruling Patriotic Front PF and the opposition United Party for National Development UPND. The election was however declared a draw as both candidates amassed the same number of votes, but the winner was decided through the tossing of a coin to break the tie. In the end, the coin method favored the UPND candidate, who was later declared winner. 2 years later, the PF, through former Kasempa Member of Parliament Kavinga Pande and another top official from the PF, Martin Mbaya, are back in Kanongo to thank the people for the votes. The official's first stopover was at the Sub-Chief Kalasamanyika's palace for a courteous call. Here, the chief was not hidden his open support for the PF, says the party will not struggle to win votes in 2021 for the massive developments such as the construction of Ntema Rural Health Center, sinking of boreholes and the erection of a mobile communication tower.
Kusanjira nangamba kipanyi kine kya PF kinakutangitira bunda makyalo kupitira mu ba abo president wetu abo ba Edika Changwa Lungu bakwamba betu languluke poteba bena Kanongo nobe nuwa amwa chifu Kalasamanyika ngepa chikintu kitashi kona atendekere kusebenza mu Kanongo wati nanga munu mu ufumu kikalasa chifudo kyajinga kipatere kya Kanongo Ntema Rural Health Center ali nanga pakuyena iwe mwaka nage kutonga onotumba bakwetumba sonta ko wabo mpaka bijike wasebenzele waidi kande ya kidikide woba engijire pa PF kipatera akya mwane.
Mr. Pande was elated by the chief's support, with other PF officials saying that once PF wins in 2021, he will not be forgotten, as he has also not forgotten the party.
Kwa ya ikuye mafoti sokoro tucheche tu bana chitika korele na yuka njina ruketekeba kubamba puno kitu kibarengesha muvune na ngutera ko miturengesha muvu kuyahabane yamabo nangu yotu yako kwa tuwe na kutaka ikakuna no gombo goma taka ikirenga mona ya fuma ya mwikana kikusanta.
From the chief's palace, the team held a meeting at Kanongo Primary School to officially thank the people for the votes. Here, Mr. Pande and Mr. Mbaya led other speakers in encouraging the people of Kanongo on why they should work with the ruling party and not the opposition.
Inge makafurumendo wenu wazi kafurumendo wa tama mutima. Aya kliniki inga kumia kwa kolero ni. Hivyo? Hivyo mwana. Ingira hii na kafurumendo zipo. Atena mutapo nene waya kunoreo zinamba tumusanchire nebe na Kanongo voti mutupere
nge cyakubambane babe na Kanongo mwapere bima voti byonse mwayukwira PF kunonga kye kujibiryene na yuka mba mishima mufwayo na yuka kubamba mu class gafamu matesi ibyo bano pakubamba ye kansera ye wafayo na kwitubura ateba Pero ya mudinga kansera wa opposition kuwa wa ya kuyamiwane ubena kuchini MP kuwa wa ya kukafurumende ne panonge ba ya kuno bambamba kafurumende ke imutamuchimane bubera.
In the end, every head was left green, while the women's waists were equally painted green after being given PF branded wrappers. Kalan Muchima reporting for Camnet TV News in Kasempa's Kanongo ward.
In other news, Chief Jinganta of Kalomo District Southern Province says it is not true that Zambians are divided into tribal lines, as alleged by politicians, stressing that this cannot be possible because traditional leaders across the country have a good relationship. The traditional leader says politicians are the ones fueling what he terms as fake tribalism for their benefits, as traditional leaders are united are united since the time immemorial. Chief Giganta has since urged the Zambians for Unity, Peace and Development, ZUEPD, who paid a courtesy call on him at his Choma office on Wednesday to focus on cancelling politicians who he says are the culprits in dividing Zambians. He has also dispelled allegations that people of the southern province are against President Edgar Lungu, adding that the president had more visits in his chiefdom than any opposition leader who come from the region.
Because we are going into elections next year. But I just want to say, as chiefs, we welcome this. As chiefs, we will give the maximum support. And we want you to work outside the line of rail, because there have been a lot of NGOs have been formed, but they just go to Livingstone, they come to Kalomo, they come to Choma, then they say, we are in Southern Province. No, Southern Province is beyond Kalomo, beyond Choma, beyond Mazaboka, deep where the people are living. So that you can portray a picture that yes, you want to promote peace and unity, but actually there is already peace and unity in our chiefdom or our Dundumwen's constituents. That's why we have seen we are outlooking, we are outgoing. We are inviting a lot of political parties in our constituents. So we, as traditional leaders, actually we are not divided. We are very strong together as Zambia. It's just the politicians. But we have to bring it out. We have to bring it out nicely, that even when people are claiming that there is a division, actually, you find Mbewe in Mbewe is one of the good farmers. Yes. So you come to these villages and speak to those people who are actually interacting, who are staying with us, but they are from other provinces. Then you see that this division is not real. It is just created by a few people. So it's very, very important.
And the ZUPAD President Mary Ngoma says her organization will continue engaging traditional leaders to denounce electoral violence and tribalism among Zambians ahead of the 2021 elections and beyond. Ms. Ngoma, who was accompanied by her Vice President Ronnie Ngoma and Trustee John Banda, says the time has come for Zambians to treat each other as brothers and sisters, adding that engaging in violence should never be the last resort.
The points that you have given to us, actually, even our plan is along that line. We want to reach the remotest place, and we also plan to meet the chiefs all over the nation, not only in Southern Province. Just that we started here because this is where we are. We are in Southern Province, and so challenge begins at home. We clean our home first, and then we go out there. We also want to meet the leaders of political parties. Yes, especially the general secretaries, the provincial leadership, because they're the ones that send this to their youths. You know, they
really been a dividing factor for communities, and that we belong to. So, with that background, we thought engaging chiefs and traditional leaders.
We now take our first set of commercials, but still to come in the news, Kawama West residents in Mufulira district urged to safeguard water infrastructure. Zambia records 5 more COVID deaths in the last 24 hours. We'll be back for more after this. I have used Oracle Pure Glycerin for 2 years now. It has really worked for me. It has cleared all the black spots on my face. It has restored my skin beauty. It also smoothens the skin. Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for perfect skin. If it's not Oracle Glycerin, then it's not pure glycerin.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We continue with the rest of the news. An adult male identified as Abednego Katuka is currently admitted at the University Teaching Hospital UTH and nursing wounds that were inflicted on him after he had his testicles and penis chopped off by unknown people. UTH Public Relations Officer Natalie Mashikolo says the incident happened in the early hours of yesterday near Central Park in Lusaka. Ms. Mashikolo explains that the man was brought to UTH in a semi-conscious state by the police after being informed by members of the public that there was a man lying in a pool of blood under the flyover bridge. The victim was attended under the accident and emergency unit at UTH, is said to be in a stable condition and currently receiving treatment. A Lusaka-based economist, Yusuf Dodia, has urged government to reverse some of its decisions, such as the increase in ZESCO tariffs and hiked fuel prices, which has resulted in increased cost of production. Mr. Dodia tells Camnet TV that this will relieve the nation from negative effects of the COVID-19, projecting an economic decline in the year 2021. He notes that the past 2 years has been characterized with many challenges, such as debt pressure, fluctuation in inflation rates, and upshoot of the interest rates, hence the need for government to come up with modalities which will help ease economic activities.
The past few years have been characterized by difficulties in Zambia's economy, with pressure on debt, inflation rates, and interest rates negatively affecting businesses. The year 2020 has come with its own challenges, which is COVID-19, making things worse, as an economic expert foresees a decline in the country's economy come 2021.
It's necessary for the nation to continue to fight off COVID, to continue to wear masks and social distancing and sanitizing, but that very much does not help as far as the growth of the economy is concerned, as far as people earning a living is concerned. What I think government needs to do going forward is, first of all, I think government needs to reverse a lot of the decisions that were made in 2018 and 2019. And by this I mean we need to see ZESCO tariffs go back to what they were before. They went up by 300%. We need to see them come down. We need to see fuel prices more realistic, in line with what the oil prices are in the market today. The international market for oil is about $45 a barrel, and yet we are paying fuel in Zambia as if the oil were at $90 a barrel. Another thing that I think we need to do as a nation is we need to reverse a lot of the high charges that are levied by government on government services. When you are paying for services from a government agency, a government ministry, a statutory body such as the regulator.
Yusuf Dodia, who admits the importance of the need to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, sympathizes with the poor Zambians who are supposed to benefit from the stimulus package, as they cannot meet the conditions of service.
That, I think, yes, government has made an attempt to try to help the private sector through the 10 billion kwacha stimulus package through the Bank of Zambia and the 8 billion kwacha COVID-19 fund, which was recently launched as a bond. But these resources are not going to the intended recipients. They're not going to the small and medium enterprises, because even though these resources are going into the banks are still very rigid in the way they want to lend out money to the businesses. They want to see collateral, they want to see a lot of security, which these companies, these small companies, don't have.
Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwenga Mwenga.
Mufulira District Commissioner Mike Manda has challenged the residents of Kawama West to look after the water system, which is soon to be rehabilitated by Mlonga Water and Sanitation Company. This follows the area's continued water crisis, of which an investigation was instituted to ascertain the main challenges. Mr. Manda reveals that thorough investigations indicated that water pipes had broken down following some road works going on in the area. Mr. Manda has since engaged Mlonga Water and Sanitation Company to immediately fix the broken pipes so that the water can be accessible.
After living for many years without clean water, part of Kawama West in Mufulira district of the Copperbelt province will finally have access to clean and safe drinking water. The residents in the area have been drawing the commodity from a nearby stream, which is said to have been stagnant and polluted. In mitigating the situation, Mufulira District Commissioner Mike Manda has engaged Mlonga Water and Sanitation Company to fix the broken pipes that were damaged during the grading of the road through Kawama West, which made this part of the township to be completely cut off. The residents who were found drawing water at the stream expressed gratitude to the Patriotic Front PF government under the leadership of President Edgar Lungu for coming to their aid. They have explained that the water challenges and the poor road network which were being experienced in the area will now be a thing of the past. Reporting for Camnet Television in Mufulira, Zambia, Namwenga Mwenga.
Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Dr. Jonas Chanda has described as tragic the state of old infrastructure used to treat water and sewerage in Kabwe. Dr. Chanda says if left unchecked, the danger may lead to Lukanga Water Supply and Sanitation Company resort to rationing of water or a complete shutdown. The minister toured the Mlungushi Dam, which is the main source of treated water to Kabwe residents, directed Lukanga Water and Supply Sanitation Company to come up with ideal and emergency course responses that will urgently address the challenges being faced by the utility company. He says infrastructure at the dam, which was constructed 30 years ago, has seen no upgrade and only enables the plant to pump 14,000 cubic meters of water out of the 37,000 cubic meters capacity. He explained that the old valves, clarifiers and pumps need to be replaced urgently.
The situation here at Mlungushi Dam is actually tragic. That's the term to use. It's a disaster waiting to happen, because if you look at this dam, it was constructed almost 30 years ago. Commissioned by the first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, just before he left office. But the danger here is that all the equipment is old. It's like we are frozen in time. We're still in 1991. So when you look at everything here, starting from the sedimentation, the clarifiers, the pumps, everything is just old. The centrifugal, what do you call those? The centrifugal pumps, they're all archaic. So the capacity of this dam, we're only pumping out 14,000 cubic meters. And what is the capacity?
It's supposed to be 37,000.
From 37,000, you're pumping 14,000, which is half. The other 14,000 from underground. And with Kawa being so populated, so we are running on oxygen, if we were to put it in medical terms. So this plant is running on oxygen. Anything that happens, there will be a disaster, like what happened in February. So it doesn't have to take a minister to come and say disused what's this sanitation line, a sewer line, which has been punctured for so many years. It has become a bridge, because this is now a bridge, like we're being told. But my major concern is how polluted this whole area is. because all the sewer now is just going open. So it's like an open pit latrine, open defecation. So imagine so many thousands of people defecating everywhere. That is what the place has become. And to correct that mess with untreated raw sewage, it has to take a gigantic effort because people, I don't know how many are sick. They are gardening already there. Yeah, there is a community there. So in terms of public health, this is where waterborne diseases are coming from, you know. So diseases, people who have typhoid, cholera, dysentery, will be pressuring now the Ministry of Health, Kawe Central Hospital, for more drugs and all. There is no medicine and whatever. When we are creating a huge problem ourselves. So director, the MD and director engineering, a month from now, we are coming. This sewer line has to be done, and want to see the sewer going in the pond, because that is the design.
Government has revealed that 63 districts are battling with COVID-19 pandemic, stressing that this does not mean other remaining areas are safe, reminding them to stay awake and prevent the spread of COVID-19. Speaking at the COVID-19 briefing, Health Minister Dr. Chilufya says the country has recorded 154 new cases from 1,155 tests done. Dr. Chilufya also reveals that 5 deaths have been recorded, with 2 brought in dead, 3 facility deaths, of which 2 are from Levi Mwanawasa Hospital and 1 at a private hospital in Solwezi involving an expatriate, bringing the cumulative number of deaths to 273. The minister says 114 people have been discharged, making a total of 9,140 recoveries, the cumulative number of COVID-19 cases standing at 10,372. In today's update, Lusaka, Chikankata, Mazabuka, Monze and Solwezi are places that were affected.
The situation in the country as of 7 o'clock this morning, Zambia recorded 154 new cases of COVID-19 out of 1,155 tests conducted. This brings the cumulative number of COVID-19 cases in the country to 10,372. Let us take note that these individuals are coming from Lusaka, that is 61. That is from the routine screening. 61 are coming from Lusaka, Chikankata 7, and 2 from Monze. That means 70 of the 154 cases are from routine screening. 59 are contacts to non-positives, and these are coming from Mazabuka 7 and 52 Lusaka. 22 of these individuals who tested positive were picked through hospital surveillance, screening in our hospitals, 20 in Lusaka and Monze 2. Further, through mortuary surveillance, 2 BIDs were picked as positive. Currently, Levi Mwanawasa has in admission 52 patients, and with these patients, 2 are in very critical condition. In addition to the 2 BIDs, we recorded 3 facility deaths, 2 from Levi and 1 involving an expatriate from Maryberg Hospital in Solwezi. The cumulative number of deaths linked with COVID-19 now stands at 274, of which 270 have so far been classified as follows: 82 as COVID deaths and 188 as COVID-19 associated deaths. We await classification of 4 deaths. Today we discharged 114 patients from our various facilities, bringing the number of COVID-19 recoveries to 9,140. Therefore, the numbers cumulatively stand as follows: 10,372 cases recorded cumulatively, 273 deaths, 9,140 recoveries. Countrymen and women, it brings the global picture, brings out 22,308,044 COVID-19 cases with 791 deaths. Recoveries stand at 15,301,257.
In other news, The International Labour Organization ILO has handed over information communications technology to the Ministry of Community Development and Social Welfare, aimed at enhancing the national rollout of Disability Management Information System known as DMIS. Speaking at the handover ceremony, country representative for Zambia and Malawi, George Okuko, says the equipment will be distributed to all 10 provinces in Zambia at persons with disabilities offices. Meanwhile, Community Development Permanent Secretary Pamela Kabamba is grateful for the gesture, especially in the COVID-19 era.
The International Monetary Fund has been an all-weather friendly for Zambia's social protection landscape. In 2012, through a legislative instrument, the Zambia Agency for Persons with Disability was instituted. Today yields another milestone in Zambia's social protection agenda as ILO hands over computer equipment to support the national rollout of the Disability Management Information Systems. The computer equipment will be distributed to all 10 provinces, including the PID headquarters here in Lusaka. George Okuto was at hand to hand over this donation to the Ministry of Community Development and Social Welfare.
You can only manage what you know. And having the information system will enable us to understand the magnitude, the distribution, and the characteristics of the person with disability. So I must congratulate the government and ZAPID for leading the work that has already started to make sure that this system will work and remain alive for proper planning.
And receiving the donation, Community Development Permanent Secretary Pamela Kabamba says the computers and cameras will go a long way in the digitalization processes of including persons with disabilities.
I note that ILO has procured 12 laptops, 12 desktop computers, 12 1 TB external hard drives, 12 cameras, and 12 camera stands, which we are receiving today. This equipment is meant for the 10 provincial offices and the national office to enhance the operations and the rollout of the Disability Management Information System. The Disability Management Information System is an information system that helps store data, capture data, and generate reports which can be disaggregated by biographic data and category of disability.
And speaking at the same event, Acting Director General for Zambia Agency for Persons with Disability, Julian Mwila, is grateful for this gesture.
To this event simply indicates how dedicated each one of us is towards the development of the disability sector. Like I earlier mentioned in my opening remarks, this is something that we have been working on for a while now and have made such progress at ensuring that we collect and maintain a functional database for persons with disabilities is indeed a huge milestone for us. On behalf of the agency, I say thank you to the ILO for your continued support, and we look forward to more engagement and collaboration on the DMIS itself as well as other programs.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet TV's main news. We take another break. Still to come is international and sports news. Stay with us.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future, as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant Save Nations to Develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy-saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown, and we are proud to be one of those.
Welcome back. Now in international news. Malian opposition leader Mahmoud Dicko said he would step back from politics after meeting soldiers who deposed the president in a coup. The new military rulers have ordered civil servants to return to work and promised to oversee democratic elections within a reasonable time frame. The international community has condemned Tuesday's coup, with some announcing sanctions. And now in Mexico, where more than 73,000 people are listed as missing and around 20% of them are minors. Activists say the number of children who disappear every day has doubled over the past 2 years. Most are believed to have been trafficked for sexual exploitation or sold into forced labor. Al Jazeera has more.
Jubilation on the streets of Bamako. After months of demonstrations that resulted in death and injuries to anti-government protesters, opposition supporters are now ecstatic about the potential for change to the government.
The way this regime fell was a good thing. It was good for us. So what the military did is not a coup. What they did was support the people in order to alleviate their suffering. In democracy, the power belongs to the people. The same people who gave the power to the president, but he was unable to achieve what the people expected of him.
The military needs to organize a transition. Then at some point they can return it to the civilians, to the political parties. What I ask today is that they sit down, hold talks, and find a global solution for the problems of Mali.
Mali's new military rulers, a group calling themselves the National Committee for the Salvation of the People, said the intervention was necessary, and they vowed to return Mali to democratic rule.
People of Mali, we are not holding on to power, but we are holding on to the stability of the country, which will allow us to organize within an agreed reasonable time frame general elections to equip Mali with strong institutions which are able to better manage our everyday lives and restore confidence between the government and the governed.
On Tuesday, the military leaders overthrew President Ibrahim Keita's government, arresting him and members of the cabinet and senior army officers. They accused the president and the others of failing to protect Malians and for allowing corruption to flourish. The promise of a return to constitutional democracy is welcome news to the opposition, but there are also concerns that the army may seek to hold on to power, something the opposition say they will resist. International reactions to the coup were swift. The United Nations, France and the United States have condemned the coup, with the African Union suspending Mali's membership of the organization. The regional bloc, the Economic Community of West African States, announced a list of sanctions. A land and air blockade of the landlocked country is in effect. It will also restrict financial flows from member states to the country, measures that could worsen the already tough living conditions for Malians. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera.
Juanita Perez is asking for help to locate her 2-year-old son Dylan. He was taken from a market in the Mexican state of Chiapas on June 30th. Juanita says despite the media attention and help from activists, it took a long time for police and authorities to begin investigating the boy's disappearance.
I know it's not only my son that everyone should be looking for, but I know that if we search for him, we will find many other children. That's what I would like, for people to keep looking and keep coming together, not only for my son, but for the many other lost children.
Juanita's case is far from unique. Every day, an average of 7 children go missing in Mexico, and that rate of daily child abductions has almost doubled in the last 2 years.
We believe
the disappearance of young children is linked to illegal adoptions, nationally and internationally. And in the case of adolescent girls, the evidence suggests they become victims of sex trafficking. And in the case of adolescent boys, we know they're often forced to work for criminal groups.
According to the latest national statistics, more than 73,000 people are listed as missing across Mexico. And just as forced disappearances have seen an exponential growth in recent years, so have protests calling for accountability.
Demonstrations like these have become very common here in the Mexican capital, and they're often organized by the family members of missing persons. And what we hear consistently from people at this type of protest is that the government isn't doing enough to find their missing loved ones.
Mexico has some of the toughest laws in the region against human trafficking, but legal experts say a culture of corruption and impunity means few cases are ever solved. Many are never even investigated. In the absence of state help, dozens if not hundreds of collectives have been formed by the families of the disappeared. They're on a constant search for the tens of thousands of missing persons across the country, an estimated 20% of whom are children and adolescents. Many compare the phenomenon of forced disappearances in Mexico to an epidemic that has only worsened over time. Since the turn of the century, it's estimated that some 12,000 children have gone missing in Mexico, most of them between the ages of 13 and 17. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
We now look at sports news. Polo coach has revealed that the Zambian national soccer team will play 2 international friendly matches against United Arab Emirates with the travel restriction induced by the COVID-19 pandemic are eased. Polo coach Militin Micho Sredojevic says the technical bench has been arranging for the international friendly matches, which are originally scheduled to be played in September, but have since been moved to October owing to the fact that the Asian World Cup qualifiers, which were slated for October, have been postponed. Micho says the technical bench will use the friendly matches to prepare the squad for the November double-header Africa Cup of National AFCON qualifier matches against Botswana.
All this period we have awaited what CAF will do in regards to competitions, and as we have seen, we have a clear picture what will happen in front of us. I'm owing to tell you that we have prepared an international friendly match, 2 international friendly matches against the national team of United Arab Emirates. However, it was not meant to be due to the fact that now in September World Cup qualifiers for the Asia have been cancelled, so those friendly matches are off. We are looking to move them to October, and in October we are looking to have a double program where senior national team of Chipolo Polo will play 2 international friendly matches against United Arab Emirates. We shall still see what will happen, because time has come when even the best planning need to have plan B. So we are expecting to play those 2 friendly matches against them in October, and in the same moment to prepare ourselves for the COSAFA tournament, where we are defending champions and where we shall probably use the Chan local base team in order to give them the best possible platform for the January Chan in Cameroon, so that they get an cohesion and gelling and automatism, an aspect of bringing together and building a strong team that will not just participate in January in Cameroon, but also go all the way towards being proper contenders.
That sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, the headlines once again. Hakainde Hichilema describes Zambia as a broken state in need of urgent viable leadership. Government urged to quicken the issuance of NRC and Sub-Chief Kalasa Manyika's chiefdom. Stakeholders demand a clear path on prisons vote from the Electoral Board. And in international news, Mali highly expectant of fresh elections after Kieta overthrow. And in sports, Zambia to play 2 international friendly matches against United Arab Emirates in October. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day coming from the book of 1 Timothy 2 verse 5 to 6, and it reads, "For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Jesus Christ, who gave himself a ransom for all, to be testified in due time." Well, thank you for joining me. Remember to keep social distancing, mask up, and always sanitize. I'm Precious Mzeya, Psychology. Pleasant viewing.